All data that is collected has error. It doesn't matter if you're brand new to surveying or you're a drone pilot or a professional surveyor. All of your data has error in it. And while you might think that it's really complicated and difficult to analyze where error is coming from, the reality is error analysis is not that complicated. The main difference between someone that can deliver centimeter level accuracy and someone who has to constantly redo their work and doesn't have the confidence in the accuracy of their work is the ability to identify where error exists, fixing the error, and maximizing the overall accuracy of the data collected. And like I said, there's no such thing as a perfect measurement. Every measurement has error. People treat errors like it's this statistical rabbit hole, like it's such a complicated thing to figure out and to fix. But in reality, errors fall into one of three buckets. They're either systematic errors impacting your entire data set, they're either random errors, which is by nature, or they're blunders, which is just a complete mistake that was made on the part of the user. All right, let's start with systematic errors. And this one by far is the most common among all errors. A systematic error essentially is error that is carried throughout your entire process. Therefore, it is a constant one-sided error that impacts your entire data set. A good example of this is if I'm using my GNSS receiver and I've got the pole height set to 2 meters and I'm collecting data throughout my day at 2 meters. But then suddenly I realize I actually need to drop the pole down to 1.8 meters because I have an obstruction in my way or whatever. The idea is I need to update my controller to reflect the new pole height. Now, because I'm working quickly and it's raining or whatever, I forget to update my pole height, and suddenly I am collecting data at 1.8 meters, but my data collector says it's at 2 meters. And so the way that you fix systematic errors is by applying an adjustment. Now, in the case of a false pole height, all we would need to do is figure out at which point did we lower the rod, and then we would just add 0.2 meters to each elevation after we lowered the rod, therefore correcting our data and eliminating the systematic error. We also see systematic errors whenever we're doing differential leveling. After completing a level loop, we oftentimes close back on our starting benchmark and we find that the elevation is slightly higher or slightly lower. And by using a leveling adjustment method, we're able to apply a correction to each setup to ensure that we close our level loop without any systematic errors. Now, the main problem with systematic errors is that they go undetected. Take a look at this quality report from a drone survey. It says that our RMS error is 0.03 feet. That's 1 centimeter of error. So someone looking at this might think, hey, I've got good data. But the reality is their pole height was wrong the entire time they were collecting ground control points. And a quality report like this is not going to detect when you have a bad GNSS reading. So what do? How do you solve systematic errors? Allow me to introduce you to the concept of ground truthing. Ground truthing essentially takes a benchmark data set, something that has been proven to be correct and the closest thing to 100% accurate as possible. And it compares your data that you collected to the benchmark. If your data matches the benchmark data, then this small sample that you've tested can rule out systematic errors. And so if you're trying to find benchmark data, I recommend using NGS's Survey Explorer to find monuments in your area. These monuments have been surveyed and their coordinates are verified by NGS. So I'm going to take an observation with my GNSS receiver, and if my coordinates match the NGS coordinates, then I know that my receiver is working properly and I've ruled out systematic errors from my data collection. Now, if I do find a difference in coordinates between my GNSS receiver and the NGS data sheet, then I can take the difference of this point and apply it to my data set to ensure it matches the ground truth data. And this brings us kind of to the discussion of accuracy versus precision, where data sets with systematic errors may be precise, but are definitely not accurate. And this is the case with our GNSS receiver. If we were to inverse between the points, the relative accuracy is actually quite good. But when ground truthing it to a benchmark, we discover our absolute accuracy is off by 2/10 in the vertical. And that's why your quality report doesn't catch the systematic error, because it's not referencing a ground truth data set. All right, so now let's talk about random errors. Random errors occur in nature. Perhaps I'm holding my prism rod and I don't have the bubble perfectly centered. Or perhaps I'm using a tape measure like this one, and I'm supposed to read 15 feet 5 times. But every time I try to hold right here on the tape, sometimes I'm 1 or 2 hundredths too short or 1 or 2 hundredths too long. Or it's raining like it is right now, and therefore my performance in the field is impacted, but not to the level where I'm making mistakes. These are all examples of random errors. Let me show you a real example of what random error could look like. Say I need to figure out the circumference of this tree. I'm gonna pull my tape, wrap it around, and I'm reading 2.45. But let's say I decide, you know what, I just want to double check my measurement. Let me do it again. Take the tape. Oh wait, now I'm reading 2.46. Okay, let me do another one. I take it here, I wrap it around. Okay, now I have 2.43. And what's happening is there is a slight variation between the numbers, causing us to have some form of error. Sometimes it's a little higher, sometimes it's a little lower. The main thing to remember is that the range is what dictates whether or not this is a random error. And the error is by nature because you can't measure the same thing twice exactly the same. Therefore, we have slight variations. And let's say I'm holding a rod like this. Like, I'm not going to be holding this 100% the same every time whoever's behind the total station is measuring the prism. The whole point is it's random. It's slightly higher, it's slightly lower, but the range is what makes the difference. And so the way that you find random error is by utilizing the bell curve Gaussian distribution. Here's what that means. Let's assume a sample size of 100 observations of the same exact point, or distance, whatever the same measurement is. And I graph these observations from smallest to largest. My distribution graph is going to look like this, a bell curve. This is the random bell curve distribution. Have you ever seen those videos where people like drop beads into like a bunch of different holes on the bottom? You notice how every single time all those beads drop, the majority of them fall in the middle and the ends have the least amount of beads. And that's because in nature, this is what random distribution looks like. It is measurable. It is a bell curve. It is the Gaussian distribution. And the same happens in surveying with random errors. And so the way that you read this graph is by utilizing sigma. And sigma is your standard deviation for your observation. Sigma is the average of all 100 measurements minus one individual measurement, and 1 sigma would be 68% closest to the center. So if you were to observe something 100 times, 68 of them would be within 1 sigma. Now doing the same thing, but at 95% would be considered 2 sigma. So out of 100 measurements, 95 of them are closest to the center. And finally, 3 sigma at 99.7. So if you were to actually take 1,000 readings, the closest 997 readings would be considered 3 sigma. And so if the error falls within 3 sigma, there is a 99.7% chance that it is a random error. Now, how do you fix random error? The truth is, data with random error is actually pretty accurate. They are hovering around the right point. They have no systematic issues. However, you might have a higher range, meaning your precision is low. And the best way to fix this is, well, take more observations. Having more observations and then averaging them will get you closer to 1 sigma, effectively removing your random errors. And this is why when I'm using a GNSS receiver to establish control points, I'll actually switch my collection mode from instant to averaging, and I might set this to, 3, 4, 5 minutes to get multiple observations of the same point, removing any random errors I might get from my GNSS observation. Now, if your measurement's error is 3 sigma, meaning that there is a 0.3% chance that it's just random error, chances are it's a blunder. Now, a blunder is nothing more than a mistake. It's something that you, as the user, did wrong that ultimately impacted your data. Now, blunders are the easiest to find, and you can actually use the bell curve distribution to mathematically calculate whether an error is a blunder, but blunders are just outliers. So if you find an outlier, get rid of it. That's the easiest fix. Now, even though the fix is really easy, this one mistake can cost you your entire accuracy budget, effectively ruining your entire project, and worst of all, ruining your reputation. Let me show you an example of what a blunder could be. I'm gonna read that rod over there using my differential level. And after I've been working several hours and it's been raining and it's been just a long day, I accidentally read the top line of my line of sight versus the middle line, which is the true level line for our automatic level. And effectively now I've added some distance to my height on this one measurement that is going to be substantial and effectively ruin my entire level loop. Another example of a blunder is, let's say I'm using my tape measure to measure the building, right? And the one side that I read is 34.1. But when I go to read it out or write it down, I accidentally say 43.1. So effectively I've just added 10 feet to my measurement, and this is not a systematic error because it doesn't occur in all measurements, and it's not a random error because the error falls outside of 3 sigma, so it's a blunder, and the way to fix it is to redo it. Or if I have multiple measurements, remove the bad one and only work with the good ones. Understanding where error comes from and how you fix error is the difference between being confident and delivering high accuracy data to your clients and having to redo an entire project, costing you time, money, and your reputation. And you don't need to be a professional surveyor to understand error theory and how it applies to your projects. And so if you've got a project sitting in front of you that you're not confident about the accuracy of, that is exactly why I created the Survey School. We'll work with you and teach you the process of identifying good versus bad data, and within the first 90 days, you are going to learn how to fix your errors, save time and money on the projects that you've worked on, and effectively learn proper field procedures to minimize your errors and collect centimeter level accuracy. And you're gonna walk away being confident in the data that you collect, and that's what's going to land you more clients, working on larger projects, and improving your business and your skills. Our members in the Survey School are business owners and project managers working on identifying errors in their projects, improving the accuracy of their data, and creating high accuracy deliverables for their clients. Visit thesurveyschool.com, join our community, and let's work on improving the accuracy of your projects and building confidence in the data that you collect. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you all next time.